Since my last video on Explora Journeys, I've gotten a lot of questions, so let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Judy. I'm your cruise specialist. Let's talk about Explora Journeys, and I'm going to answer all of the questions that I've gotten over the last few weeks, and hopefully this will help you decide if Explora Journeys is right for you. I have my notes right here so I don't forget anything, so let's get started. First of all, what's included in your Explora Journeys cruise? The answer to that is simple because it's just about everything. Explora Journeys offers an all-inclusive experience. So when you're on the ship, the things that are included are your food, your drinks, your cocktails, in-suite dining, Wi-Fi, gratuities, that's all included. On a lot of other cruise lines, that's an extra charge, but on Explora Journeys, it's all included. So Judy, if that's all included, what's not included? Well, shore excursions are not included. Certain spa services, like if you want a massage or a facial or a pedicure or a manicure or something like that, that's not included. Like I said before, all the dining on board is included, and that's all the restaurants. But there is one restaurant that is not included, and the name of that restaurant is Anthropology. Everything else is included. So if you want to have an extra special dining experience, you can pay extra for Anthropology. People always ask me too, what's the dress code? Because Explora Journeys is considered a luxury cruise, which means it's on the higher end. So what's the dress code? Well, there's no formal dress code at all. I would say it's kind of like if you're in the public areas like the dining room or walking around the ship, it's smart casual. But we were on the ship and we walked around in whatever we wore for that day. And you could watch one of my videos to see what we wore walking around the ship. We did dress a little bit nicer for dinner, but we do that on any cruise anyway. And when I say a little bit nicer, I don't mean we were in formal clothes. We just wore kind of nice, smart, casual clothes. It's a very comfortable and laid back cruise line as far as attire is concerned. Is there an adults only area? So Explora Journeys is open to families. Now, I say they're open to families, but they don't necessarily target or go after having families on board. But if there are families on board and there's kids around and you want to be in an adult-only area, you certainly can. There's an adult-only area pool, which I do point out in my video when we did a tour of the ship, and the whiskey bar and the observation lounge are adult only as well. Now, I'm going to say that, but the bottom line is when we were on our cruise, and again, it was a Mediterranean cruise, it could be very different. It could be a little different in the Caribbean. But when we were on our cruise, there was about 700 people on board and there was about 20 children. So we definitely were not overrun by having kids on the ship. Another question that I get pretty often is, how's the food? How are the dining options? I find the dining options very, very good, and I found the food very good. Now, something I tell my clients quite often is that food can be subjective. What I find good doesn't mean that you're going to find good. Everybody kind of has different taste buds and has different feelings about food, but overall, the food was delicious, and we liked most of it. And we did a food tour video. If you're interested in that, I'll link that below as well. But there are so many options on board for you to choose from. And all of the main dining that's on board are in different restaurants. So it's not like that there's one main dining room that you go to, like if you're on Royal Caribbean or Norwegian or Carnival or any, even Celebrity or Princess. They don't have that. They have a lot of different dining rooms, a lot of different restaurants that you can choose from. And you don't need a reservation for those restaurants at all unless you want a particular time and you want that reservation. I can list right here the dining options that are on board. And then one of the other questions I get is about the Wi-Fi. So we know Wi-Fi is included in your cruise fare, which is a huge chunk of money. On a 7-day cruise, you can spend a lot of money on Wi-Fi for one device, let alone for 2 devices, which I always do 2 devices. So then the next question is, well, how's the Wi-Fi? Well, the Wi-Fi was excellent. Excellent. I never had an issue with Wi-Fi at all, whether it was in our cabin, whether it was around the ship anywhere. The Wi-Fi was excellent. And believe me, I'm someone who works when I'm on board a ship. So I have my phone and I'm on my phone quite a bit. And I bring my laptop in case I need to answer client questions or in case someone wants to do a booking or anything like that. Those two devices, along with my husband's phone, work seamlessly. The Wi-Fi was excellent. Thumbs up on the Wi-Fi. Another thing that's included in your cruise fare is some of the in-suite amenities. So you do have a mini bar in your suite that's included. And we loved that because we would grab things out of the mini bar. And at the end of the day, we would come back from being in port or just hanging around the ship. And our mini bar was replaced with what we took away. So they start to get to know what you like and what you don't like. So for me, I love Diet Coke. And if I would take a can of Diet Coke in, lo and behold, by the end of the day, that Diet Coke was replaced. And I just love that. I knew that I'd be able to have that when I got back to the room. So it was awesome. Also, another thing that's included, that's a little side note, is that Explora Journeys doesn't sell water bottles or have water bottles. So on other cruise lines, you can go to the bar, you can ask for a bottle of water. It could be $2.50, anything like that. Explora Journeys doesn't have that. They don't have water bottles, but they keep two large bottles like this big, big bottles in your room filled with water all the time. One's filled with tap water, the other's filled with sparkling water. And then there's glasses in there that you can pour it into. Also, there's fill stations around the ship if you want to fill your water bottle. So you always have water. And they give you water bottles if you don't bring any with you, which I really like because we can bring them home for a souvenir. I also have had a few questions recently about the occupancy limits in the suites. And that's like any other ship. It could be based on the suite. It could be 2 people. It could be 3 people. It could be 4 people. It depends on the suite type that you get and how many people can fit in that room for sure. Some people have also asked me if their suites can be connected. Maybe you're traveling with somebody else and you kind of want your suites to be connected. And the simple answer to that is yes. And if that's something that you're looking for and you book Explora Journeys with me, I would do a deep dive to let you know, if that's possible on the sailing that you're looking at and what cabins are available. People also asked me what it was like being on the ship. Is there entertainment? Yes, there's entertainment. They have entertainment every night in various locations. They have bands, they have shows, they have a lot to do. And we did see several shows while we were there, and a few of them were really, really good. Again, it's all in our vlog if you want to look at it. I'll link it in the description below. But we thoroughly enjoyed the shows on board. There are so many spaces on board where you have some privacy. So the maximum amount of people that are on an Explora Journey ship, and this can vary a little from ship to ship, is around 920 people. So that's still a small amount of people. When we were on board, there was 922 was the capacity, and we had about 700 and something on board. And some things that we really loved about it compared to when we sail some of the bigger, more mega cruise lines is there was hardly anybody in the elevator ever. We ran into a few people here and then, but there was hardly anybody in the elevator. We went to the spa. There wasn't hardly anybody in the spa, and that's another thing that's included. I said that spa services such as a massage or a facial or something like that is extra, but the thermal suite is included, and it was fantastic. We spent a couple of hours there, and we loved it. There's a spa tub, there's a sauna, there's a cold room, there's loungers to lay on. We thoroughly enjoyed the thermal suite, and again, it wasn't crowded with a lot of people. There really are so many areas on the ship where you can go be by yourself. And even at the pool, the pools are never overly crowded. We always found a seat, even if it wasn't exactly in the pool where we wanted to be. I truly believe that there's more seats than there are people. And there's a lot of pools on board. There's 5 pools on board when we were on the Explora 2. So that's a lot of pools for a smaller ship, and it was fantastic. One of the other questions I get is about itineraries. Explora Journeys is a little bit of a newer cruise line. It's the luxury brand of MSC. So Explora Journeys has two ships, Explora 1 and Explora 2. Right now, they kind of share itineraries in the Mediterranean and in the Caribbean. However, in summer 2026, we're getting Explora 3, and in summer 2027, we're getting Explora 4. And Explora 4 in summer 2027 is going to start out in Alaska. They're going to have their Alaska season on Explora 4. So this is just one more opportunity to go to Alaska and go to Alaska in luxury. And that's going to be fantastic. So I'm so looking forward to that and looking forward to getting on another Explora ship. I just can't wait. I said in one of my videos somewhere along the way that you're going to have to drag me off this ship, and honestly, they had to drag me off that ship, and I can't wait to go on. If you have any questions that I missed, please ask them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about Explora Journeys. I love talking about it because I really adore the brand. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And if you're ready to book your Explora Journeys cruise, just shoot me an email and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much for listening. And if you found this video helpful, please feel free to subscribe to our channel and like and click those notifications because we cruise all the time and you don't want to miss any of our trips. Thanks so much.